はい。皆さん、こんにちは。ジョーです。今日はですね、また、業界で活躍をされている人をですね、お呼びして、お招きして、お話をお伺いしていくということを今日もやっていきたいと思います。で、今日はですね、今、このソラナの領域で、非常に、大注目を集めている Humidifi というですね、プロップ AMM のプロジェクトの、ファウンダーの方に来ていただきました。ということで、Kevin, thank you so much for your time. I'm really excited about having you and asking you many questions about Humidify and what's coming ahead. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So today we're going to go over, the Humidify mainly and what's cool about it, and then background and what's coming as a roadmaps. And I'd probably ask you a little bit about token, which probably you might not be able to answer too much. But then I want to kick off from your personal introduction.
Sure. I'm Kevin. I'm a trader by heart. I've been doing this for a long time. I graduated from MIT and then began my career at Jump Trading, a pretty well-known HFT company based in Chicago. I spent about 9 years there working on all sorts of different asset classes as a quant researcher. Started in equity options, moved into futures and equities, and it was really like one of the best firms to see what world-class performance and just excellent people can do together. But after about 9 years, I kind of felt like I wanted to try something a little bit different, decided to venture into crypto. Spent about a year working at the venture capital firm Paradigm, where I got an amazing education and introduction into crypto. And then after about a year there, I joined my current firm, Symbolic. We're a on-chain DeFi trading company, and we specialize in all sorts of DEX trading, and we kind of invented many of the techniques that are used today. And our latest side project has been Humidifi, which is what we'll talk a little more about today.
Thank you. Just going to the main section, kind of wanted to ask you one question. Recently, a lot of people from Jump or TradFi coming into crypto as DeFi founders and so on. Do you think having those background is like really useful or very helpful for you to kind of build great product or really understand some of the financial aspect to build like such a great stuff?
Definitely. I think there's definitely different areas of crypto, and the ones in which I spend most of my time, having seen a lot of the traditional finance, like mechanics and mechanisms play out over the last 10 years, 20 years, is kind of like a cheat code. You get to see the future. You see what people have dealt with, what people have invented, and how they responded to it. So I think that experience is extremely valuable. Like there's oftentimes people will think they invented something new. They'll talk about it on Twitter, and I'll instantly already be able to map this as something else that I've seen before. And to me, that's super useful. I think in terms of building new products, it's still something that's kind of newer to folks that work at these firms. And even for myself, I've had to kind of learn how to work on things like attracting users, building products that improve the welfare of customers rather than just focusing on proprietary trading. So that's definitely been a little bit of a learning curve.
Sounds good. Thank you. So, with such experience, you've been building a Humidifi, which is kind of like Dogpool MM or proper MM, people call. What is really about? I think a lot of people heard about it and try to read about it, but I think wanted to hear from you.
Sure. So Humidifi is ultimately, what people call a prop AMM. It is a trading strategy that is embedded into a smart contract that lives on chain. It does have some off-chain components as well, which means that we use data that we can access from centralized exchanges like Binance or Coinbase, in addition to on-chain logic that is programmed into a smart contract. So we cannot change that in order to try to give the best prices for any sort of trade. So, we're not super well known because we don't have a website or a front end where people can directly use our product. Instead, people will use aggregators like Jupiter or DFlow or Titan or OKX. And when they go to their aggregator and they say, I want to buy as much Solana as I can for $1,000, what happens is each of those goes and checks on every one of the dexes, how much Solana will you give me? And currently around 40% of the time, your best price is going to be with Humidifi, and then we will give you the trade. So ultimately what we do is we provide liquidity, and we do it in a way that currently is giving us the dominant market share.
I see. And then, so that means you don't have to have inventories like traditional market makers have, and also where the money comes from, your like kind of seed money.
Sure. So we do need inventory because all of our funds do live on chain in our account. We have to have all the funds there. But one thing that's different about our design is we are a lot more capital efficient than traditional AMMs. So we're an active AMM, which means that we kind of update our quotes every single block. This allows us to keep up to date with real-time information coming from our price models. And that means that when markets do move a lot very quickly, we're able to kind of adjust our prices in real time. And if we're able to do that, then we're able to do more profitable trades, and we're able to then pass that on to users. So they're the ultimate beneficiary. If we don't have to lose money all the time, we don't suffer impermanent loss in every trade, then we can now give users a better outcome. We currently only have our own proprietary internal capital. So currently, I believe there's something like $8 million of tokens that we use to trade about 15 different tokens. But in the future, we may open it up so other people can also, invest their tokens. But what's unique about our design is not that. It's more focused on the performance that we can generate by continuously adjusting our prices and in the most performant way possible.
And then with that only like amount of money, you cover like now 30, 40, even sometimes like 60% of the on-chain like activity on Solana?
Yeah, I know it's kind of surprising and unintuitive, but I guess the way I think about it is instead of being willing to buy Solana for like $1 or $2, or prices that hopefully we'll never see again, we only concentrate our liquidity at the very, very tip of where people are buying and selling. So currently, Solana is somewhere in the ballpark of $130. That means that we're only providing liquidity at $130 plus or minus $1. And that allows us to do trades of up to $1 million in size. But because we don't have to save some of our capital so that in case somebody wants to sell Solana for $1 or buy Solana for $1,000, that allows us to be much more capital efficient than some of the other AMMs. So our specialty is really in these very liquid top names, but we've also been experimenting with some less liquid names. Maybe I'll tell you more about that later.
I see. And why did you think about building this product? Did you have any ideas before, or you come up, some good technology, or what was the reason you building this?
Yeah, so I wish I could say that I invented this, but we're actually, I would call us the third generation of prop AMMs. So, the initial group that I believe came up with it was Lifinity. They actually created what was called a Oracle-based AMM 2-3 years ago. But they didn't really spend as much energy trying to make it a world-class trading strategy. They were still trying to focus on making it accessible to many users. And they were successful, but they weren't able to really dominate the market. And I would say the second generation, there were a couple of other, of the first prop AMMs, SolFi being one of them. And they actually accumulated a lot of market share back about a year ago. And so we were one of the trading firms on Solana, and we were seeing that SolFi was gaining market share, and we tried to figure out what they're doing. And finally, when we realized what they're doing, we're like, this is actually the right way to trade. And we identified some of their weaknesses and areas that we thought we could do better. And then over the next, 3 to 4 months, kind of developed our own version. And now I think We're currently leading the market with some of our innovations, and we're hoping to continue to do so. But the space is constantly changing. This is not something that is a very static, design. We already have a pretty lengthy roadmap of new features we want to add, and I'm sure there'll be a fourth generation, fairly soon.
I see. And then this structure is only possible in Solana just for now, or are you going to, different networks and so on?
So Humidifi is not planning on doing anything on any other networks. We have started to see the concept of active liquidity AMMs on other networks, and even some prop AMMs show up elsewhere. I think what Solana uniquely enables is the highest performance substrate for us to build, smart contract exchanges on. It's kind of in its DNA. It's kind of what the entire chain has kind of decided to focus on. And because of that, a lot of the people on Team Solana are all pushing in the same direction, which makes our job a lot easier. Some of our partners also spend a lot of time speaking to the core developers and trying to make sure that we're evolving in a direction that allows this type of trading to continue to lead the way and to demonstrate what's actually possible if you have super high frequency, high bandwidth trading that's available on your chain. We want to help make Solana like the place where people trade a lot of their capital assets.
I see. Thank you. Is there any particular reason why you guys has been like kind of hidden or, not public?
Yeah.
Didn't really have to.
So I think it's actually more unusual for us to not be hidden now. In general, like we're not the sort of people that are seeking attention. We're developers at heart. We're builders. And also we come from like a proprietary trading background where we're not really used to bragging about ourselves on Twitter or talking about how our strategies work or open sourcing our code. We kind of focus on trying to deliver the best outcomes, whether it's making money or creating like value for users. So for us, it was quite natural to not be super outspoken about what we do. But I think that as our role in the ecosystem has evolved, we've realized that educating people on what exactly is happening is extremely important to us. And so that's part of like why I'm chatting with you today, to tell you a little bit more, pull back the curtain, explain what things are working. While we're not planning on open sourcing all of the code, this week, we are planning to tell people more about how exactly they're able to get the best performance as a result of, some of the innovations that have happened in the last 6 months.
I see. And then before deploying your smart contract, did you know that the MM strategy is dominating like this much? Or like, are you also like expecting other players coming in and like all of a sudden, take over this dominance? Or like, what do you see?
Before we started, we were fairly optimistic. We knew what we were good at. And what we thought we could bring to the table was like DeFi trading expertise that very, very few other firms had, and combining it with technical Solana expertise that very, very few other firms had. And so we thought we were going to be successful. We weren't really expecting to be doing 40% of Solana volume, to be honest. But I think it's not super surprising when it comes to trading outcomes. Usually like the best product will begin to dominate. And I hope that we can continue to innovate at the pace required to remain, one of the top dexes on Solana. I will say that it's challenging. And I think that what really differentiates us is not that we've invented something that's completely new. We haven't. But that we are able to adapt it to new changes and to anticipate and understand and influence like how Solana as a whole and how the entire ecosystem progresses. I'd say that's kind of our biggest advantage, is the ability to understand the trading side, understand the users, understand the routers, all the different participants, and then build the best product. So for somebody to come and unseat us, they're going to need to, outperform in many of those ways.
I see. And then now I think you have limited capital, but then are you going to open, this vault or your strategy to the public in the future and then cover more pairs? What's your plan?
We are slowly adding more pairs. Opening it to the public is not going to be coming in the next month or so, but it's something we've been discussing. I think one thing that's interesting about prop AMMs is they're not really built to support all the different assets. And Solana is kind of known for a lot of meme coin trading, for example, and firms like the Humidifi team don't really want to take that much inventory exposure. They don't want to have to buy tens of millions of dollars of meme coins in order to trade them. So I can't imagine a future where we will let people contribute their assets and as part of that, take part in the upside. Right now, the assets that we are trading, we're very happy to be taking on the exposure for them. But yeah, that's something that we kind of want to hear what people have to say and what their needs are. Historically, this has been the model, but we've also been looking at other ways to have the biggest and best impact.
I see. And then now I think your positioning is kind of interesting. It's smart contract based, it's in DeFi, but then whatever you guys doing is kind of in a centralized way, or what do you think? You compared to, let's say, Citadel, what are the difference, and how would you describe your role?
So what we do that's a little bit different than a super completely centralized entity is we do put all of our code onto a smart contract on the blockchain. So I wouldn't say it's decentralized in the sense that anybody can access it, anybody can utilize it. Ultimately, it is our code that's running, and only we can access that right now. But it is, for anybody to interact with. If you want to trade against Humidifi, we take liquidity and we take orders from anybody. Some of our competitors have tried to censor smart, sophisticated actors. But right now, we actually invite everyone to try to trade against us, even the other top DeFi trading firms. But we're still working towards thinking about how to make this a more decentralized product. Right now, it's just focused on growing the strategy as much as possible. And yeah, it's something that's important to us. So we're trying to think about how we can contribute to that.
I see. And then we've been seeing traditionally MM, Olka and other players. And now you guys coming in, I think market dynamic or the market shares, I would say, is changing quite a lot. You guys being in this space makes a dramatic change from that perspective in terms of liquidity players. How are you going to contribute to this industry other than just liquidity? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think the first version of Humidifi started off as a trading strategy, and then it became a very big trading strategy, which is what it is today. And we're continuing now to help try to push the envelope and see what we can do. One recent initiative is trying to help bridge day one assets onto Solana so that Solana can have support for them almost as quickly as they're listed on other blockchains or other centralized exchanges. For example, Monad launched last week. Big shout out to them for an awesome launch. But with the help of Project Sunrise from Wormhole, we were actually able to trade Monad within an hour of it launching on Monad itself, and within an hour of it launching on Coinbase. And we were actually giving tighter spreads than other exchanges on both centralized and decentralized. You probably could have gotten the cheapest prices for trading Monad on Solana, which is kind of a funny coincidence. No, it wasn't an accident, but these are the sort of initiatives that we've been looking forward to. Is what do people want, and how do we end up giving them more access and better outcomes?
I see. Do you provide liquidity only to the DeFi venues, or is it possible you to provide liquidity to the centralized exchange?
Interesting question. So we are a trading firm, and we do trade on centralized exchanges as well. One of the strategies that is at the heart of Humidifi is blending together CeFi and DeFi strategies together. So if you're able to come up with a price model that consists of trades and orders that are happening on multiple decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges, this is kind of like one of our edges. Is we're able to listen to this data and produce a price feed that maybe nobody else is able to do. So yeah, like we've already started to blur the lines of what is a strategy. And I would say that Humidifi is kind of a hybrid. Like everything happens on chain, but we do utilize a lot of information elsewhere. And in the future, we may also have Humidifi directly interact with CEXes. But right now, it's not something we do.
I see. People call you prop MM and so on. Do you consider yourself like as more like a hedge fund or a market maker, or because like you said, trading firm? So like, what's your take?
Yeah, I would say we're evolving away from being like a trading strategy. That's definitely how it started. That's where our DNA is like building a trading strategy. But now it's kind of becoming more of a liquidity service. Like when you're doing 30 to 40% of volume on Solana, it is going to be very profitable. But we kind of feel like we have a bigger responsibility here to make sure that we also are not extracting from the community, that we're also contributing to the narrative of Solana becoming the home of internet capital markets. So what we've done is we've reduced the spread that people have to pay in order to execute trades. Instead of trying to keep the spread super wide and just purely maximize profit, we're constantly speaking to other people about how can we give retail users the best outcomes. Now, we're not really necessarily trying to give arbitrage bots the best access to prices, and we have ways to try to discriminate between real humans and these bots. But what we do really ultimately want is for Solana to be the cheapest place to trade any asset, if you're a human user or if you're an institution.
I see. And then now I see you guys as like kind of different version of Citadel, but then like similar. And then I believe more people like Citadel or anybody who's experienced in a high frequency trading platform or a strategy that come in the future. So do you think crypto still has a lot more room to kind of take benefit of those experiences and make money? Is that like what it is? Or like, what do you think? Because you as a trading firm coming in, providing liquidity, and also you're going to be profitable, right? Does that mean those traditional players coming in and use their experience to make money, also at the same time provide liquidity and contributing to the platform? But is it now? I think it's you guys are very good players. But is it possible that kind of greedy player come in and kind of mess up the whole this ecosystem?
Yeah, I think it definitely is. And that's why decentralization matters so much. Outside of just working on trading, all the folks on the Humidifi team also contribute to just research and protocol research. We've already seen some HFT firms try to get into DeFi. Some have done very well. Some have decided to work on other things. But it's kind of up to the crypto native, the DeFi native, the people who believe in decentralization to create an immune system against forces that lead to outcomes that people don't want. Specifically, like one dominant actor who's able to do absolutely everything, can control the blockchain. At that point, it's not really the same thing anymore. And so in addition to actually operating Humidifi, like there's a lot of work that myself, my partners, we all do to try to figure out what each blockchain wants and to make sure that decentralization is still the top priority. Because otherwise we're just recreating traditional finance and adding a little bit more overhead to it.
Sounds good. Thank you. So a little bit about tokens. Probably you might not answer too much, but then I think the token launch is going to be taking place in Jupiter in a couple of days, and also we're going to launch token. Is there anything that you can talk?
Sure, of course. So yeah, we're slowly releasing information about it, so I don't want to share too much. We are launching it on Jupiter's DTF, Decentralized Token Information Platform, on Wednesday. And there'll be a sale for both users of Humidifi as well as a public sale. And then we'll officially launch the token a little bit later this week, probably on Friday. Yeah, we haven't really been public about the plan so far, but earlier today we released the tokenomics. We released the white paper, and I believe tomorrow we're going to be releasing the tokenomics. So yeah, look out for that.
Do you think trading strategy, trading firm like you issuing token could be a little surprise to the public, or the token structure people expect? What do you think?
Well, I think Humidifi, the product, is something that's very familiar to users. There's already a large number of very large AMMs that also have tokens like Radium, Orca, most recently Meteora as well. And yeah, these are competitors. We do slightly different things and we have different niches, but at heart, we have a very different setup. Like we don't currently allow retail liquidity we don't allow retail users to contribute liquidity. And so our token is definitely going to look a lot different. But ultimately, we are trying to build something a little bit different in this DEX space. And the token will definitely have some utility that will be useful.
I see. And then after you raise, do you plan to use the money for further development, or what's your plan to raise?
Yeah, so the pre-sale funds will go directly towards creating liquidity on some of the DEXs that the token will be listed on. And yeah, we would plan on continuing to invest into more research and new features. Our end goal is to, again, make Solana the cheapest place to transact. And the way to get there for Humidifi is to try to produce the best, tightest spreads for anybody that wants to transact. There's going to be a number of ways that we do that, and the token will play a role in some of that. But yeah.
I see. And maybe you cover some of it, but do you have any roadmaps that you can share for the Humidifi?
I guess one idea we've been tossing around, we haven't committed to this exactly. Yeah. We're still fleshing it out. When we first spoke to the Jupiter team about creating Humidifi, they mentioned that we should consider building it as a general purpose AMM, general purpose prop AMM. I guess at the time it was called a dark AMM because people didn't really know what the logic was there. And it was something that we thought didn't make sense for us, but something that we're now considering. If Humidifi became a platform where any market maker could take advantage of some of the efficiencies that we have, and we can create a more programmatically enforceable set of rules that people had to follow, this could be an interesting utility case. So this is something that isn't going to come before the end of the year, but if there's demand for it, then it's certainly something we're interested in building.
I see. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I think it's been already 30 minutes, so we have to wrap up. Can you kind of, give some message to my audience?
Sure. We'll definitely try to find out more. We have a fun Twitter account at x.com/Humidifi. But if you're interested in learning more about the technology, this is something that we're looking forward to sharing more about. So yeah, engage with us either on Twitter or feel free to find a way to contact the team. You'll be seeing us at Breakpoint as well. And we're going to progressively try to educate the space on what exactly is happening in these dark AMMs that are not so dark anymore. People are starting to hear about them and want to know more. So we're planning on trying to do our best to illuminate it a little bit.
Sounds great. Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. I'm so lucky to have you here, and hopefully, best luck to the token launch, and I hope to see you in person in Breakpoint.
Thanks so much, Joe. It was fun.